चतुश्चत्वारिंशत् वसुदलकलाश्रत्रिवलयत्रिरेखाभिः सार्धम् तव शरणकोणाः परिणता
ओम अविद्यानामन्तस्तिमिरमिहिरद्वीपनगरी जडानां चैतन्यस्तबकमकरन्दश्रुतिझरी दरिद्राणां चिन्तामणिगुणनिका जन्मजलधौ निमग्नानां दंष्टामृरिपुवराहस्य भवति भवानि त्वं दासे मयि वितरदृष्टिं सकरुणाम् इति स्तोतुं वाञ्छन् कथयति भवानि त्वम् इति अहं तदैव त्वं तस्मै दिशसि निजसायुज्यपदवीम् मुकुन्दब्रह्मेन्द्रस्फुटमुकुटनीराजितपदाम् Om Amriteshwari Namaha. My pranams to my Guru, Srimata Amritanandamayi Devi. My pranams to all those who are present in this class. It was described that Devi is not just a form with hands and legs. She is much beyond the form also. She also takes a form when required. When she wants to bless her devotees who are not of the Nirguna class, who cannot worship her as a formless, who cannot worship her in the formless aspect. So she takes a form also. That is only for the Bhaktanugraha or for blessing her devotees. She is much beyond form. She has a mantra rupa. All the mantras are her own form. She has a Kundalini rupa. She is present in every being as Kundalini Shakti. She is in the form of Sri Chakra. She is in the form of Sri Shodasakshari Vidya. So these are the Sukshma forms of Devi, which were described in the previous two slokas. Now, her form as Sri Chakra is being described in this particular verse. Chaturbhi Srikantaihi Shiva Yuvatibhi Panchabhirapi. Prabhinnabhir Shambhoho Navabhirapi Mulaprakritibihi. It is describing a wheel which is having nine different aspects, 9 different parts. Four of them are of Lord Shiva, Chaturbhi Srikantaihi. Shiva Yuvatibhi Panchabhirapi. 5 of them are made up of Devi, Shiva Yuvati. And together they form the 9 wheels, which is the basis of this universe. Prabhinnabhir Shambhoho Navabhirapi Mula Prakritibihi. They are the Mula Prakriti of the universe. Chatushchatvarimsat. Totally there are 44. 44 Trigonas are there in the Sri Chakra. Vasudala Kalasra Trivalaya Trirekhabhi. Vasu means Ashtavasus. 8. The number 8 is otherwise called as Vasu. There is an Ashtadala Padma, Vasudala. Kalasra, Chatushashti Kalas, 16 Kalas. There is a wheel which is called as Shodasadala Padma. Trivalaya. There are three rekhas. Three rekhas. Three valaya, three circles and three rekhas. Evam tava charanakonaha chatushatvarimsa. They become 44. A Sri Chakra contains Ashtadala Padma, Shodasadala Padma, Navara, 9 aras or 9 lines, 3 valayas, 3 rekhas, and they crisscross in such a way that 44 triangles are being formed in that. Thus making it into a corner of 44 or 44 triangles. So this is the basic explanation of this particular sloka. Chaturbhi Srikantaihi, 4 Shivachakras, Shiva Yuvatebhi Panchabhirapi, 5 Devi Chakras, 9 Mula Navabhirapi Mula Prakriti. Thus 9 Mula Prakriti, 9 triangles. Chatushatvarimsat. There are 44 triangles in which Vasudala, Ashtadala, Shodasadala, Trivalaya, Trirekha also are together forming this 44 triangles. So it is the Sukshma Tattvas are not described here. The gross aspect of the Sri Chakra is being described here. Sukshma Tattvas are Antarlina. They are latent, and it has to be understood by learning under a guru. In short, the whole body or the universe is the Sri Chakra. Some people say there are 636 tattvas. Some people say that there are 24 tattvas. In Bhagavad Gita, it is told in a very simple manner that Mahabhutani Ahankaro Buddhir Avyaktamevacha Indriyani Dashagamcha Panchaja Indriya Gocharaha Ichhadvesha Sukham Dukkam Sangatas Chetana Dhritihi Iti Kshetram Samasena Savikaram Udahritam, it is told. Panchabhutas, Panchatanmatras, Jnanendriyas, Karmendriyas, Manas, Maya, Shuddha Vidya, Maheshwara, Sadashiva. Like this, the tattvas are being mentioned. Tattvas are the principles of the universe. The Sri Chakra is also mentioned in the scriptures that Bindu, Trikona, Vasakona, Dashara Yugma, Manvasra, Nagadala, Samyuta Shodashara, Vruddha Tribhuparayutam, Paritas Chaturthaha, Sri Chakrametadudam Paradevatayaha. There's a Bindu, Trikona, Ashtakona, Dashakona. There are 2 Dashakonas. Chaturdasha Dala, Shodasha Dala, Ashtadala, Rekhatraya, Bhutraya, 4 Shiva Chakras and 5 Shakti Chakras. So, in many ways, it is being described. Navavarana Chakra, it is also called. 9 circles are there in that. In the first circle, there are 3 rekhas. Second, there are Shodasadala Padma is there. The third Avarana, Vasudala, Ashtadala Padma is there. In the fourth Avarana, Dashara, Chaturdashara, 14 lines are there. In the fifth avarana, it is Bahirdashara. In the sixth avarana, it is Antardashara. Seventh avarana is 8 Trikonas are there. Ninth avarana is Bindu. So the Bindu is surrounded by Ashtadala, Shodasadala, Navara, etc. So that is how it is being drawn, and it is considered as the most sacred. And if you analyze it properly, you will understand that it is nothing but this whole body, Saptadhatus, Panchatanmatras, Panchamahabhutas, Indriyas, Karmendriyas, Jnanendriyas, Buddhi, and the Tattvas which are beyond Buddhi also. So a Upasaka, a Sadhaka, has to worship his body as the temple of God and then keep it clean, keep it pure by thoughts and deeds. And then worship Devi inside that particular temple and then realize the purpose of life, the self-realization, understanding of the self. Now we understand that the body is ourself. We understand that we are the body. We cannot go beyond the body consciousness. Whereas the Mahatmas, the Mahapurushas, although they are 1 in 1 million, maybe 1% in 100 years, still they represent the highest purpose of life. Because this body is perishable, idam shariram parinamapesharam patatyavashyam sratasanti jarjaram. This body is tend to change. It is tend to decay. Everyone in this universe will die one day or the other. So before dying, we have to explore whether there is a higher purpose in life. Instead of working very physically, very gross, in a gross manner. The very purpose of the Shastras are to make you better. An ordinary person becomes a Uttama Purusha. A Uttama Purusha becomes Uttamottama. Uttamottama Purusha becomes a Jivan Mukta. A Jivan Mukta is a beacon of light for everyone. He blesses the whole universe by his mere presence. So, transforming oneself, transforming from a lower person to a higher person is the purpose of all the scriptures. The Shastras have that ability to make you better. Saundar Lahari is also, it's not an exception. Although it's a Upasana Grantha, it's not a textbook of philosophy. Just you can read and understand. It is for repeated sadhana. It is for thinking about Devi. It is to pray and worship every day. It's a Upasana Grantha. So you cannot leave that for even one day. Every day you have to do the Upasana. Every day you are taking bath. Every day you are eating. Every day we are having tea. Similarly, every day we have to have worship of Devi also. So here the Sri Chakra is mentioned and its konas, 44 konas are mentioned. And it indicates that The whole body is the Sri Chakra. In this body, we have to, when we are in this body, when we are living in this body, we cannot attain moksha after, after death, going to Vaikuntha or some other loka, Sri Loka. That's not the purpose. While being in this world, we have to realize the goddess within us. So that is why this sloka is described here. Let us move on to the 12th sloka.
Okay, Swamiji.
त्वदीयं सौन्दर्यं
त्वदीयं सौन्दर्यं
तुहिनगिरिकन्ये तुलयितुं इन्द्राः कल्पन्ते
इन्द्राकल्पन्ते
कथमपि किञ्चित् प्रभृतयः
प्रभृतयः
यदा लोकौत्सुक्यात्
यदा
अमरललनायान्ति मनसा गोभिर्दुष्प्रा अपि गिरिशसायुज्य पदवी
Now, this particular sloka again describes the beauty of Devi. You should not consider that it is not in an order. A poet need not follow an order. He follows his own emotions. Sometimes they are extreme. Sometimes the aspect of a poet cannot be exactly understood. They are not taking a class. They are not taking. They are not describing Devi. They are not determined to do it in a very systematic manner. Also, sometimes they describe the beauty. Sometimes they describe the glory. Sometimes her formless aspect. Sometimes Sri Chakra is described. Sometimes Kundalini Shakti is described. Even though after the 42nd sloka onwards, Shankaracharya describes Devi as a Devi in a very systematic manner. In a Keshadipada, Varnana is being done. But in the first half of Saundalahari, it is not exactly like that. Tadiyam Saundaryam Tuhina Girikanye Tulayitum. O Devi, Tuhina Girikanye, he says. Tuhina means snow. Tuhinagiri means Himalayas, mountain of snow, ice mountain. O daughter of ice mountains, once the Himalaya, even though it's a mountain, they say there's a Chaitanya in it. He heard that Parvati Devi used to incarnate. And he wanted to have her as his own daughter. He did a very long penance for that. And Devi's heart melted. She had a soft corner towards Himalayas. And she took birth in a lotus in the Himalayas. And Saputravata, Himalaya, the mountain Himalayas, considered Devi as her own daughter and grew her like that. So generally, in snows, the lotus does not grow. It does not like that much of cold weather. But Devi became his own daughter. She grew in the lap of Himalayas. She did her penance. She married Lord Shiva while being the daughter of the snow mountains or the Himalayas. So that story is told here. Tuhinagiri Kanye, O Devi, who is the daughter of the ice mountains. People are trying to describe your beauty. Tadiyam, Saundaryam, Tuhinagiri Kanye, Tulayitam. They try to compare you. They make tulana or comparison of your beauty with something else. Just like your face is looking like Sharat Chandra. Sharat Chandra Nibhanana, it is told in Lalita Sahasranama. In the autumn season, after the rainy season, the sky becomes very clear, the moon becomes very big. It's very pleasant. People try to compare your face with the Sharat Chandra. In one way, it is correct. In many ways, it is not correct also. In Ramayana, in Kamba Ramayana, Lord Rama's beauty is being described. Mayyo Maragatamo Mare Mugilo Mari Kadalo, it is described in Tamil Kamba Ramayana. First, Rama's color complexion is described. It's a blackish in complexion. Mayyo. It's like a collyrium, Anjana. But then Kamba thinks that even though he's black, can we, sometimes the black color is not very much appreciated. But Sri Rama's color was very beautiful. He was very handsome. Still, you cannot call him as something like a collyrium. So he discards that idea. Marakatamo, then he says that he is like an emerald, green emerald, Shamala. Then he becomes a little bit satisfied. Then even though it is a stone, it's a valuable stone, but it is not expansive. It's not all encompassing. So he tries to compare it with something else. Marigadal is like an ocean. He's like an emerald. He's like a collyrium. He's vast. He's very big. His embrace is covering the whole universe. So he becomes a little more satisfied with the comparison that he's like a ocean. He's like an ocean. Then also he is not fully satisfied. He says that he's like a rain which does not leave anybody. It covers the whole universe. Madai Mukilo. His blessing is for everybody. From a small animal, from the monkeys, from the Rakshasas. The Vibhishana comes and surrenders to him. Many of his ministers say that he is a brother of the Ravana, who is the enemy of Rama. So we should not allow him to join our army. He may leak out the secrecies. Rama says in a beautiful sloka in Valmiki Ramayana, Sakradeva Prapannaya Tavasmi iti cha yachate Abhayam Sarvabhutebhyaha Dadamyedat Vratam Mama. Which means, once a person surrenders to me, taking me as his refuge, I will never leave him. I will protect him from all the bhutas. I will protect him from every obstacle, every possible danger. This is my vrata. Now, Vibhishana has come to me and surrendered. Even if Ravana comes and surrenders to me, I will also protect him. That is my woe, that is my vrata. I cannot change my nature. So, Rama's compassion covers the whole universe. He does not leave out anything. Kamba tries to describe Rama. First, he describes as Mai or Collyrium, Anjana, Marakata. Then he calls him as an emerald. Then he calls him as an ocean. Then he calls him as a rain. Mayyo, Marakatamo, Marikadalo, Marimugilo. Ayyo, even Araganbador, Adivila, Aragudayan, like that. A small baby tries to get some sweet which is kept much in a higher place. First, it comes with a small stool. Then another stool it puts. Then another vessel it puts, and then tries to climb over that and try to catch it and try to take that sweet. Still, it is not able to do that. Then it raises both its hand and says that it is out of my reach. So similarly, when we compare the god or goddesses with something, we fail to fully comprehend their beauty. We fail to comprehend their nature. Duruha, it is very, very difficult to understand them. It is Ascharya Janaka, Vismaya. So similarly, Tadiyam Saundaryam, people are trying to compare your beauty with something. Tadiyam Saundaryam Tuhinagirikanye Tulayitum Kavindraha Kalpante Kathamapi Virinchi Prabhatayaha. Virinchi, etc., try to compare you. Kathamapi, they tried hard and try to compare you with something. Kavindra, they are not less people. They are king of poets. They are Indras among the Kavis. Even though they are big, they are unable to compare you fully. They are unable to compare you. They are unable to comprehend you fully. And they fail to describe you fully. Just like the Kamba could not compare Rama with anything. Tadiyam Saundaryam Tuhina Girikanye Tulayitum Kavindraha Kalpante Kathamapi Virinchi Prabhatayaha. Yada Aloka Utsukyat. Amaralanaha, the Amaralanas are the Devakanyakas, Rambha, etc. They also try to think about you. They also try to meditate upon you. They inquire about you. They inquired about you and understood that the closest person to you is Lord Shiva. He is the one who is closest to Devi. Everybody understood that. So if we become Shiva, we can also attain her. So that is their thought process. Tapobhir dushprapamapi Girisha Sayujya Padavi. They reach the Girisha Sayujya Padavi. They become one with Lord Shiva by constantly thinking about him. By thinking that Lord Shiva is the closest to Devi. They contemplate upon the Girisha or the Lord Shiva. And they reach that Sayujya Padavi. They become one with Lord Shiva because they think that is the best method to reach Devi. So, two groups of people are described here. One is Virinchi, etc. Virinchi means Brahma. And the other poets, famous poets, who try to describe you, who try to describe your beauty. And somehow they try hard, but they are unable to comprehend you. They are unable to describe you fully. They are one group. Then the second group is the Amaral Alanaha, the demigod goddesses, in the Sarga Loka. They also contemplate upon you, they also think about you, they want to become like you. They understood that Lord Shiva is the closest to you, and then they became one with Lord Shiva. Girisha Sayujya, they attained the Sayujya Padavi of Girisha or Lord Shiva by thinking constantly that he is the closest to you. They became one with him through their minds. Then also they failed to comprehend your beauty. So your beauty is incomparable. It is impossible to compare Devi with anything. Something similar cannot be found in this universe. It is very unique. It is very, very subtle. So that state, to become one with you, is not possible by tapas alone. It's not possible by penance. Even by the most beautiful women like Ramba, Urvashi, Tilottama, etc. The beauty that you possess is not there. They are having external beauty. There are two beauties, one which is attained by makeup, one which is attained by good food, air conditioning, etc., by makeup. That can be enjoyed only in the nearness. When you are near, you can appreciate that. But the greatness of the great people, Mahatmas like Amma, even from a distance, you are able to feel their beauty. So that Sayujya cannot be attained by anything else. That is attained only by Lord Shiva, or by the Mangala, or by auspicious thinking. So the greatest of the poets also try to describe you. The most beautiful woman in Swarga also try to reach you. Both of them are not able to do so, because your beauty is not external. Your beauty is sublime, is subtle. It is the inner beauty that is expressed through your outer beauty. Even that outer beauty cannot be compared with anything in this universe. So the Kavindras are unable to describe you fully. The Rambha, Urvashi, etc., the damsels of the Swarga, also are not able to reach you by their penance. So your beauty is beyond this universe. It's incomparable. Tolegitum nakalpante. They are unable to compare you with anything. You cannot be called as a emerald. You cannot be called as a sea. You cannot be called as a rain. You are beyond all that. Sudhasa Arabhivarshini. You are much beyond Amrita Varsha. So the beauty cannot be compared, is the content of this particular sloka. So we can go to the next sloka.
Okay, Swamiji.
Naram Varshinyansam Nayana Virasam Narmasujadam Apangdanuti Patitam Dhavanti Shatasha
वर्धितमनुधातिशतशः
गलद्वेणीबन्धाः कुचकलशविस्रस्तसिचयाः हठात् त्रुट्यकाञ्च्यो विगलितदुकूला युवतयः
विगलितदुकूला युवतयः
This sloka is sometimes misinterpreted also. I will tell the brief meaning of this first and then describe it. Naram Varshiyamsam. Varshiya means old, very, very old. Here a devotee is compared. Naram Varshiyamsam, that fellow is very, very old. That Nara is very old. Nayana Virasam. He does not look handsome at all. Nayana Virasam. Rasa means beautiful, handsome. Virasa means not handsome. Nayana Virasa. He does not look nice. Narmasu Jadam. Narma means joke. In his usual manners, he is not very funny. He is Jada. He is a very dry fellow. A person is compared here into who is having all these three qualities. Naramba Shriyamsam is a very old fellow. Nayana Virasam, he does not look nice. Narmasu Jadam, he cannot cut jokes. He cannot be entertaining. He is a very boring fellow. A fellow who is old, who cannot cut jokes, who is not looking nice. Tava apanga loke patitam. But fortunately, he has fallen into your graceful glances. Oh Devi, you looked at him with a merciful glance. Tava apanga loke. In your side glances. He happened to fall in your side glances. What happens? The scenario changes. Galad Veni Bandhaha. After that one moment, the women are starting to go after him. Kucha kalasa visrasta sichayaha. Their hairs are not, that is being, they are not in a level. That is clustered. They are not aware of that. Their upper clothes covering their chest is falling down, is slipping from their breasts. Hatat Drudyat Kancho. They are having an ornament called Kanchi, which is the waist belt. That is also becoming loose. Vigalita Dukula Yuvatayaha. Because they are in a hurry to reach him, to reach this person. Not one, but hundreds of women are going like this. Hundreds of women are attracted towards this particular person. They are not aware that their hairs are not tucked up correctly. They are not aware of their clothes slipping down from their breasts. They are not aware that their waist belts are becoming loose and falling down. They are not aware of their own body consciousness. They become attracted towards a person who is not at all attractive. Otherwise, it's a Naramba Sriyamsam, he's an old fellow. Nayana Virasam, he does not look good at all. Narmasu Jadam, he cannot crack jokes. Still, these women become attracted towards him. They are not aware that their clothes are slipping down. They are not aware that the hairs are not tied properly. They are not aware that their kanchi or the waist band is coming down. Here, the grace of Devi is being described. A fellow who is having a lot of diseases, not at all looking handsome. He is not an expert in attracting people. He does not crack jokes. He does not smile. He's a very serious fellow. He looks like a Manmatha. He looks like a very handsome fellow. He becomes very, very attractive. He becomes a center of attraction for everybody. Generally, women like a young fellow. Generally, women like a person who can crack jokes, who can smile, who can laugh, who is an expert, who is a pandit, who is a scholar, who is intelligent, or a person who is very valorsome, a Veera Shura. Generally, the women are very, very conscious of their hair. Generally, they are very, very conscious of their clothes. Generally, they are conscious of their ornaments. Everything is happening the opposite here. Here, the fellow who is attracting them is not attractive. He's a very old fellow who cannot crack jokes, so he's not looking good. The women are looking good, not one, but hundreds of them. They are losing their consciousness, body consciousness. They are not aware that their clothes are being slipped down. Their ornaments are falling down. They are totally attracted towards this person for only one reason. Your eye glances have fallen on that particular fellow. So he becomes a center of attraction. This does not mean Stri Akarshana. This sloka is not to be practiced for Stri Vasya, to attract women. It is in fact the opposite idea is being described in this. Once the same sloka was quoted to Kanchi Paramacharya, and they asked why such slokas are mentioned in Saundar Lahari. He waited for a moment, he thought for a while, and then showed his hands towards his body. He was at that point of time 80 years old, very old. He asked that devotee who asked this question, am I not old? That devotee told, yes, you are old, 80 years. Am I looking handsome by any means? The devotee did not answer. I am not able to crack jokes. I am not able to tell any jokes. Most of the time he was silent. Naturally he was silent. So he cannot crack jokes. But he showed the devotees around him. Hundreds of them were looking at him with awe, with a great respect. What do you think is the reason for their being attracted towards me? Hundreds of them were there. Because everybody thought that Kanchi Paramacharya was a close devotee of Devi, Kamakshi. He himself was Kamakshi in another form. He's a walking God. God Kamakshi has blessed him. That is the only reason. Now, can you tell me a proof, a better proof than me for this particular sloka? Kanchi Paramacharya asked. I'm an old fellow, I'm 80 years old, I cannot speak, I cannot joke. Most of the time I'm silent, I'm not attractive, I do not dress properly. Still, hundreds of the devotees are attracted towards me for only reason that I'm a close devotee of Devi, or I am blessed by Kamakshi. I'm a Pratirupa of Kamakshi. That is the only reason. Tava apanga loke patidam anudhavanti shatashaha. Hundreds of damsels, hundreds of women follow you blindly, losing their body consciousness. Hada drudyatvancho vigalita dukula yuvatayaha. Their kanchi or their waist belt falls down. Their covering cloth over their breasts, that also falls down. They aren't aware of that. Shatashaha, hundreds of them follow you because the glances of Devi has fallen on that particular fellow. So this does not mean that he becomes a center of attraction for women. Not at all. He becomes a divine person. He becomes a source of grace of goddess. Hence people forget their body consciousness. Hence they forget their dresses. They do not bother about whether he is cracking jokes or not. They are not bothered that whether he speaks at all. You need not even speak. Just to see him itself is a blessing. Just to have a darshan of a Mahatma itself is a blessing. If you take the form of Amma, she's not fair in color. She's blackish in color. Physically, she may not be the most attractive person in this world. But her abundant love or abundant compassion with everybody, the nature, how she speaks with everyone, how she takes the responsibility of others' lives, makes her attractive. Thousands of people throng to her, whether it's a daytime or a night time, whether it is in Tamil Nadu or Kerala or Karnataka or Andhra, wherever we go, wherever in unknown places also. Generally, we go to North Indian tours in a bus. Amma sometimes stops in some places, and there are some meditation sessions. There will be some talks, casual talks. She wants to spend time with her devotees and disciples. Sometimes, generally, we choose places which are isolated, which are not among the people, which is not in the crowd. But wherever we stop, hundreds of people come over there. Somehow they understand that a Mahatma has arrived and she's going to stay there for 2-3 hours. So they come running. Even if you don't have light, even if you don't have any other facilities. They come by motorbikes, they come by cars, they come running, and somehow 100 people will be gathered wherever Amma is parking for a temporary stop also. So this happens everywhere in the world, not only in India, outside also. Why they become the center of attraction? Because we think that they are goddess herself. They are blessed by God. They are a reflection of God. They are Pratirupa of Goddess. They and Goddess are one. This is the feeling that we have towards our Mahatmas. So in this particular verse also, the same thing is being described. It is not a sloga to be practiced to attract women. Naram Varshiyamsam, Nayana Virasam Narmasu Jadam. A person who is old, who cannot crack jokes. Nayana Virasa, who is not handsome. Tava Apanga Loge Patitam, when he falls in your glances, in your eye glances. Anudhavanti Shatashaha, hundreds of women follow him. Galad Veni Bandaha, without realizing that their clothes are falling down, without realizing that their kanchi, their waist belt is also loosening and falling down. Hathat, immediately, in a moment, they become attracted towards you, towards a person who is blessed by Devi. Naram Varshiyamsam Nayana Virasam Narmasu Jadam Tava Apangaloge Patitam Anudhavanti Shatashaha Galad Veni Bandaha Kuchakalasa Visrastas Jayaha Hatat Durjat Kancho Vigalita Dukula Yotaya. So that is the meaning of the particular verse. I stop here today, as time is almost up. I offer these words to the lotus feet of Mother. Thank you very much.
Yes, Swamiji. So now today we have come to the end of the session. So like always, we will end the session by Shanti Mantram and Aarti. So please listen to this with devotion, and our next class will be on next Friday.
Nothing is heard.
Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhave. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Jaya Jaya Shiva Daite, Harihara Virinjanuta Charite, Karayama Krita Punyam Tava Guna Ganaratam Mahite, Tava Guna Ganaratam Mahite. Sahasrara Kamale Satatam Vihararahasi Dhanye, Shivakara Nijamancha Vilasite, Chidananda Mudite, Sharanye Chidananda Mudite. Bhavani Mayi Dase Drishtim Vitarate Sakaruna, Nija Sayujya Padaika Vitarana, Nikhila Dukkha Tarana, Aihika Nikhila Dukkha Tarana. Bhavatu me vilasitam saparya virajanam tava shive, समकर निपात हिमकर समान दृशा स्नपय कृपया मामपि दृशा स्नपय कृपया अनेन धन्यमिमं मन्ये धरणिधर सुकन्ये तव स्तन्यमधुरास्वादन सुख निरस्तान्यविषयम् कुरु मां निरस्तान्यविषयम् त्वदीयमपि वचनं गदतो मदीयमिव वचनम् स्वकीयसलिलैः सागरतर्पण समं जननि विदितं सकलं समं जननि विदितम् जय जय शिवदयिते हरिहर विरिञ्चनुत चरिते कारय मां कृतपुण्यं तव गुण गानरतं महिते तव गुण गानरतं महिते
Namaskar to all.
Thank you, Swamiji. Pranam.
Pranam.
Nam Shivaya Swamiji.
Namah Shivaya Swamiji.
Namah Shivaya, Swamiji.